Awesome. I'm excited about today. And I'm excited because I am going to try using Snowpack to build the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. So Snowpack, you know, not familiar with it. It's a build tool, front end front end web development, right? And it basically can take advantage of ESM, ECMAScript module, which the JavaScript API has fully embraced, right? Like just skip past CommonJS, everything else, great for ECMAScript. Because, I mean, the reasons for it, one, yes, it's modern, but it also is much more helpful for build tooling and stuff like that. And it's just the future. So why mess with anything in between, okay? So I've got a basic project set up here. And if we look at the guide to how to get started with the Snowpack, so I just need to install Snowpack. If I do, all right, so I'm install Snowpack. I'm also going to install the ArcGIS API at the same time, and I'm going to install NCP, which is a tool used for copying things around. Right. I'll show you why I'm doing that in a second here. There is a slight bug with Snowpack right now, but it's okay. It's not a deal breaker at all. So let's go ahead and add a couple of scripts in here. So a start script is just going to have Snowpack dev, right? We'll do a dev build. So we'll start there. Let's create a source folder, and let's touch a source index JS. Yeah. Let's do, you know what? I think I can do this. Do this right. Dot HTML. Wait, no. HTML, CSS. Did I do that right? Yeah, I knew I could do that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the HTML file. So because it's going to be, Snowpack works off of ESM, ECMAScript modules, I'm going to go ahead and make this script tag type module. I'm going to bring that in. I got my element here where I'm going to show my map. And I'm going to go ahead and refer to the local assets for my CSS for the map, right? I'm going with the dark theme here. I need some very basic CSS. So let's do that here. And now for the JavaScript. So I've got a very basic little app, which I'm going to go ahead and use here. But right now we're cool. We're cool. We are cool. So I've got a basic map here. Okay, so we're saving that. Now what do I need to do? And start. I don't need a Snowpack config yet. All right, so it's just run a start, and this could take a second. So what it does in dev mode, so I'm not doing prod, is it's basically just going to load everything as ESM. So your development environment with the JavaScript API could load a couple hundred, maybe a few hundred files, right? Because it's development. Oh no, I don't have. Okay, so because I have a source folder and I don't have everything in the root. Normally it looks for stuff inside the root. At the root of your project, it's going to look for an index HTML or something to build. And I don't have that. So I do need a Snowpack config .js. A Snowpack config module.export is going to be equal to, it's just an object. This syntax changed a little bit from the previous version of Snowpack to the new version of Snowpack, which took a little bit of trying to figure out on my part because it was slow. So this normally would have been scripts you add here, but you could just have a mount property now. So you're basically telling Snowpack you want to mount this folder and map it to this folder in your project, right? Not alias. Alias is different. This is just saying that I want to mount my source folder as the root of my project, right? That's all I'm telling Snowpack to do. So now if I do dev mode, so now I'm not copying the assets. Okay, so that's another issue. Okay, so another thing that comes up. Okay, let's do this. If I come to my package JSON, I don't know why I keep exiting Vim. No one ever knows how to exit Vim, and I'm just stuck. That's all I know how to do is exit Vim, apparently. So, okay, so I need to have a copy here. And that copy, now this is where Snowpack got weird for me. Weird in a metaphysical sense. The Snowpack is going to output to a build folder. So I need to copy my assets to that build folder. But actually, no, okay, I'm going backwards here. So in the Snowpack config, when I do my mount, if you've heard me talk about ArcGIS core and the JavaScript API and stuff, one of the things that you have to do is you need to copy the assets folder to the output of your deployment, to your build, right? We have the worker files in there, style and everything else in there, right? So this syntax right here is, I'm telling Snowpack, you're going to take everything that's in my node modules, ArcGIS core assets folder, and you're going to copy it to the assets folder, my project, wherever you do the build, there'll be an assets folder. You're going to create it for me. It contains static assets, right? So because it contains static assets, I don't want you to do any build on it. Do not try to go in there and parse any code. Don't do anything. These are static files, pre-built already. I don't need you to touch them. Just copy them over for me, please. All right? Perfect. This is what we need. So I'm going to set this up in Snowpack. Let's do a npm start. Now everything should be beautiful. Okay. Bam. There we go. So if I do that, save, there's my project. And at this point, you could say you're done. But not really. Not really. You're not really done, because if we look at the JavaScript, I'm on the network tab. I'm looking at all JavaScript files. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Okay, 150 JavaScript files, 721K. That's not bad. That's not really that bad. For an ESM build, that's not too bad. So it's loading all the ESM files. You know, the way Snowpack does things, it kind of creates these folders that it's going to reference to for all the builds. Similar to how Webpack does chunks, stuff like that, right? I'm pretty sure it uses Webpack under the hood by default, but I don't know because there's also a Snowpack Webpack plugin that I don't know why I need the Webpack plugin if it uses Webpack. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain on the details of that, but here are all my files, right? Everything's here and working, but they're not built, right? It's not optimized code. If I look at the index.js in your preview, you can see it's just the raw ESM that I wrote, not minified in any way. It's not optimized, right? And that's not ideal. And yes, I'm running in dev mode, but if I ran this in build, I don't think it's going to do that. So there are some things I need to do. First thing I'm going to do, stop doing that, and I'm going to install the Snowpack Snowpack plugin Webpack. Right, this will optimize my build for me. And the Snowpack config, very similar to a Webpack config, is going to have a plugins array. There arrays an array of arrays. I don't know why. It seems very Babel configish to have an array of arrays. I don't know. But yeah, that's the way it is. Okay, so now if I'm in dev mode, I don't think this makes a difference at all. What I need to do is I need to do a build script. Let me just show you what happens if I do a build script. Let me just to demonstrate why my life is so damn difficult. All right. Okay, so we got some problems. We got issues, man. Damn Snowpack. All right, so you gotta get these errors. Field browser doesn't contain valid alias configuration, and it's looking for an FS, right? So there's some node issues going on here. Snowpack, I'm going to go ahead and set the browser property. Why can't you do that? Right? Okay. To set these to false. So now Snowpack should read that browser property in the package.json. It sees that FS is false. It should see that path is false. And things should just work. So you'll remember, I come up over here and we look at the Snowpack config. In the mount, I told Snowpack, hey man, copy from my node module to an assets folder. I got assets in node module. I need to copy to my build. If I run this, nah, it didn't work. Okay. So I got a bunch of issues here, right? The assets folder didn't copy. It worked in dev mode. Work great in dev mode. Doesn't work in production. There's currently an issue where you can't mount a folder from inside node modules. In this case, they were trying to mount the cache folder. But if I read through this issue right, it seems that the node modules folder is blocked from being copied at build time. I don't know why it works during dev, but it does. So now I'm back to doing what I have to do with things like with CLI builds, where I need to create another script in here called copy. This is why I installed NCP here, right? So I can copy that assets folder out. So then what I'm going to do is after I do my build, I'll run npm copy. I want to see, let's look at the network tab here. So we had a ridiculous amount of files getting loaded before. Now it looks like we got 15 files at 739K. But yeah, there you go. That's how you can use Snowpack to go ahead and build with the JavaScript API. And I'll actually be showing more of this in my presentations for Dev Summit coming up. They're going to be in the Building Apps with ESM. So if you're going to be attending the virtual online Dev Summit, yeah, check out my sessions on the Building App with ESM. And I got Building Apps with React. I got, what else do I have? Options for consuming the API. There's a progressive web app session. And programming patterns and fundamentals, and using TypeScript to build the JavaScript API. That's 6? Yeah, 6 sessions. So yeah, I'll talk more about those in the coming weeks as we get closer to it. Stuff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks a lot.